We are back at it again. Welcome to Crowdfunding Countdown, where we're going to take a look at every single board game campaign, finishing up in the next week. That's right. It's a new thing we're doing. We're going to try to look at board games this week instead of clowns, claptraps, and clams. We're looking at crowds. We're going to look at our favorite crowds. Okay, now we're going to look at the week. As always, thanks to everybody who supports me on Patreon. No new patrons this week, no new shoutouts to happen. If you want to be shouted out, well, feel free to sign up for Patreon below or enjoy the free content. I'm super grateful. I'm always super grateful to everybody on Patreon who continually supports the channel. Like, it is significant, it is meaningful, and yeah, you're all the best. You're the friggin' best. And I love watching the Mafia games that we have going on over there. That I'm having a great time being a fly on the wall and seeing you all get completely obsessed with text-based werewolf mafia like I have been in my past. I pass my addiction on to you. So let's start with the week. Let's get into it right away. Enough preamble, we don't have anything to say. Let's look first at Kings Valley Labyrinth New. I think that's probably the full title. Kings Valley Labyrinth New. Your King of Kings can occupy the Kings Valley using strategy and tactical position king of soldiers in the Kings Valley Labyrinth King. This isn't going to be good, but we're going to look at it. Let's see. All right, it's everybody is a queen in chess, but you don't take pieces. In fact, you want to get your king, one specific piece, into the center of the map. But the trick is that even though you're queens, you can go as far as you want. Actually, you can't. You must go as far as you can. So if this white were to move all across, they'd have to move to that sort of brown space. They couldn't stop anywhere in between. So it's that sort of slippery video game ice puzzle that you've played tons of times. If you played sort of standard platformy puzzlers, there's always kind of a level like that. And this is a ceramic version, which is 33 Canadian. So, you know, plus shipping. So around 47 bucks if you want to get that. It seems fine. It's not a game I would ever want to really play, but it would be fine to do once. So should you buy it? Well, I guess that's up to you. That finishes Tuesday, October 15th at 9 p.m. We're going to move on to Ice and Land by Amadeus Games. It's a print and play that really hasn't raised much. Not a lot of people are interested in getting this print and play over on GameFound. But speaking of ice sort of games, let's see if this is the better ice game. A print and play inspired by the bestseller The Terror by Dan Simmons. I think it'll be a different sort of ice game. Based on the book Sea of Catharsis. That is what I have always wanted to find in my life. Just finally some catharsis. Just finalement, s'il vous plaît. Un moment pour respirer. I doubt there's a video. Nope. So I clicked on this because I was like, oh, what is this game that is funded, that has a box, that is funded at $600? But then I realized it was a print and play, so that makes more sense. Rulebook right close to the top of the page. Right close there, which is pretty exciting. Survivors must manage their resources while advancing through different Arctic terrains in an expedition of up to 12 days to around 5 objectives. If you don't get there, you're okay. So there's going to be a number of things that pop up in your sheet on the course of a turn. Some hazards will pop up, some directions, and you want to find easy pathways to get to resources, it seems. It's not all that clear, but there is a little bit of choice as the captain. Like, on your turn, you choose where everybody else goes, and there's also the cartographer's thing of passing your sheet to somebody else, and they'll draw in bad terrain. So a little bit of an interactive roll and write here. There's potential there. End of the game, if players survive 9 or 12 days and you don't die, or a player manages to surround all 5 objectives, the objectives which will be listed on the board at the start of the game. So, I don't know, it's $5 if you like print and plays. It deals with sort of route planning, if that's the thing that you like, and trying to get the most resources possible. I think it looks just fine for me, but I'm never really that enamored with print and plays, but I cover them because I've heard in the comments that you like when I cover them. So there you go. That also finishes, that finishes on the 16th, which is Wednesday. We're moving along to this one, Smoothie Wars, which, oh, speaking of which, I gotta get up my $1 avoidant pledge because we got a bunch, and I imagine Yeah, I know Twisted Cryptids is on there, and I imagine a Smoothie Wars is. No? Oh, Sugarpow, though. We're not going to cover that. No, it's not. Okay, great. Great, let's check it out. Smoothie Wars is a fast competitive strategy game where players compete to sell smoothies on a mythical island for 3 to 8 players, 12 years and up. This game, unfortunately, really reminds me of the game Lemonade Stand, which I can almost guarantee you you can get for cheaper than $50 Canadian. It's not a bad, fun little idea of seeing what the demand for smoothies will be, going to a specific location, and then pricing your smoothies low enough that you can outsell your competitors and then take home the big bucks. There's a little location base, which I guess Lemonade Stand doesn't have. But it really just reminds me of this one, Lemonade Stand, of choosing, you see what the weather is, you choose how many lemonades you're going to make, how much you're going to sell them for. It's very, very similar. Shipping, pick up from Smoothie Wars HQ. Hey, you can get it for free. To Canada, it would be $38 Canadian. Oh, sorry. So $89 Canadian for this game, which is just nothing that anyone should ever do. Again, I don't see much wrong with this idea. I think it's a fun little filler game. Unfortunately, for a filler game for me, I don't want to spend $50 on it plus shipping. But if you do, you can get it. That finishes Thursday, October 17th. We're near a better spot for shipping than I am. That's 7 a.m., but I still don't want to spend $50, even with free shipping. So, unfortunately, no. This one is a weird one because only 12 people have backed. So it can't possibly be that great. And I thought it was going to just be a complete, joke of a game, but it seems like there are actual rules here as I was scrolling through briefly. So I'm going to take a deeper look at it, I guess. The Felonry, battle for control of the criminal underworld. I don't know. I'm very skeptical about this, but this also is like their 5th project. They're like, we've done 5 projects, so we know a little thing about production and shipping. They say they've created 2 projects here, and one was one that didn't fund. So I'm not quite sure about that 5 project sort of thing either. Right? Risks. This is the 5th game we've brought to market. What are your other ones? Doesn't seem like it. Seems like it's the first game. Priced too low for a print run, but I don't know. I'm gonna check it out. The board is gigantic. Is it a big roll and move? Maybe that's it. That can match our vision. 3 feet long and 2 feet wide. 2 to 6 player game. 12 player characters. You all have attack stats with scavenge cards, attack cards, enhancement cards, defense cards, experimental cards, storage cards, merc cards, upgrade cards, anarchy cards, cards, expansion packs cards. Well, maybe that's it, because they don't really explain anything at all what their game is. It's really just there's a bunch of cards, and there's some playmats, and there's some people, and they got a big board. But why would you not even explain what the game is? I think it's a race across the island. This board looks like it's a one-way track or different moving around. It looks like you start on one spot, and then you just run around like the game of life and see if you survive. That's kind of what I think. But we got all kinds on Kickstarter, so this is one of those things. And credit to them, they didn't use the $1 pre-pledge, although they did give about as much information as somebody would for that. Next we have Sugarpow, except we're not covering that because it, of one special little thing, launched through Launch Boom, no coverage on Room and Board. Then let's take a look at The Oldest Child, a cooperative storytelling vampire card game. I clicked on this one because I was like, what in the heck is that? You can play it solo or 3 to 8 players. You cannot play 2 players. You certainly cannot play it like that. You play as yourself while caring for a sick vampire who needs your help in complicated ways. I think this sounds like a very funny premise that I don't know anything about. So let's take a little look-see. In this, it's like with both of these scenarios, you're yourself You're not a character. Also, please speak this very spooky incantation before it happens, and see what happens when you meet the oldest child, a small little vampire named Lydia, whose backstory is unknown as you travel to Romania. Please come to Romania. You can buy this just for the cost of an airline ticket to Romania. It takes the player's real life and superimposes a vampire you have to care for onto it. It's just a game. Please, I'm not trapped in these pages. Please help me. Lydia is a terror. Oh God, oh God. Well, that's weird. It just changed. A strange and satisfying game about who you are. Months of the story separated into 3 years. Make sure you shovel the 12 months for each year so they're randomized. There's Lydia's history, her likes, her dislikes, her motivations as you get to know her. This is too spooky for me. Print and play for $9 though, so if that piques your interests and you want a storytelling game that uses you and just says yes. I also have a vampire in my basement. And you want to be able to say that in front of your friends instead of keeping that as your deep dark secret? Well, you can check it out. That finishes Thursday, October 17th at 10:54 a.m. We're moving along to this one, Publish or Perish. I think some of my patrons were excited about this. A humorous party game about academia. My Hero Academia? No, just regular kind. Dang. Players race to publish useless nonsense while sabotaging each other and delivering snarky comments. Reviewer 2 style. It was a blast, pokes fun at a lot of absurdities of academia, a perfect game for a lab party. Publish as many manuscripts as you can before they're scooped. The player with the most citations wins. The zen of not finding your car in a parking lot, a journey into acceptance and despair. I'm a Lost, BS. A practical field guide to unproductive meetings and organization time wastage. Max Time Squander, MBA. Procrastination patterns among academics. A case study of myself. Anita Break, PSYD. Looks like you're just trying to get these little set collections, right? Play your cards strategically to your advantage. Use research cards like Idea and Data to publish mishap cards or mishap cards to sabotage its mishap. You can clearly tell where my headspace is right now. I've been really reading this Tomorrow's Research Today, Procrastination Patterns Among Academics, as I am terribly behind on all of my WSPG work. So I decided to keep doing room and board stuff instead, because this feels more attainable. Sprinkled with fun facts from 20 disciplines. Easy to play, the rules are all on one page. Yeah, I want to click on that little link so I can zoom in. These old academic eyes ain't what they used to be. Deal the player 3 action cards. They're held in secret. You play all the required action cards shown by icons on a manuscript card. You want to publish. The manuscript cards seem to be up. Announce, I am publishing. Insert title of the manuscript. Then everyone else must say, congratulations on your publication, while clapping. If anyone has to remind a player who forgets to do so, the forgetful player must give them a random action card. Yeah, that's good. Public comments. Creative comments can also help you gain citations. Every time somebody publishes, you can give them a backhanded compliment or unconstructive criticism disguised in a Q&A. You can also make up academic trash talk whenever sabotaging someone, or say anything amusing anytime. Anything goes. You can receive awards with citation bonuses for these comments when the game ends. When a player publishes their 5th manuscript, everybody has a defense where you have a 1-minute speech. If you really do not know what to say about your research, consider using this time to criticize other work instead, or just try harder. After everyone's 3-minute long 1-minute speech, vote for the awards. Start with the snarkiest reviewer. Everybody gets some rewards. Yeah, you know what? This is officially a funny card game. Honestly, this is the funny card game to have fun with all card games. Wait, did he quote himself up here? I really hope so. Oh, dang. J. Van Bavel. I wanted it to be Max Hubai. The game is $29, $40 Canadian. Shipping estimates to China, $8, $12, US, 10 to 14, with a 68.2 confidence interval. Canada, 15 to 20. Yeah, I mean, this is cute enough. I don't really want to pay $60 on sort of a joke game that you're just drawing cards and you're laughing at the funny cards. And then once you've laughed at them, then they won't be as funny. But I think this is officially the best funny card game that I have seen. Officially the best funny card game of the genre. So that finishes October 17th at 10:59 a.m. Secret Recipe is our next one. Tell me. Secret Recipe, a cozy game of clues and packs. Grandma has decided to pass her recipes on to a worthy successor. Finally, I've been waiting for my pudding. Match wits with your family and friends to find out who it is. Oh, it's just one of us, Grandma from beyond. I mean, I guess not from beyond. Maybe it's just because my grandma's from beyond. Well, that took a turn. Okay, let's see. Let's see who gets Grandma's sweet little treats and treasures. Okay, this is a little deduction game where you're trying to figure out what's Grandma's delightful recipe. She only has one. She had a whole book about it, but really it's just pour some honey and some flour and some strawberries and some pudding together and just mix it up. That's what the chunky parts in the pudding are. It's just flour, strawberries coated in honey that aren't baked. It was raw flour you were eating this entire time. Grandma, how do you make it taste so good?
Well, with love.
What?
Yes.
No, not
yes,
you, Maggie. You're
course.
not Grandma.
Well, I am a grandma. I have hundreds.
Well, okay. Well, of course.
Yes, hundreds of grandchildren from multiple
All
partners.
right. Yeah. I mean, all the power to you. I understand why. You're a friggin' hottie.
Well, you know that you're my sweetheart.
Hey,
Don't
that's
get
cool, babe.
jealous.
Hey. As long as you
What?
save some time for me, my love.
Of course.
You go live your life.
Well,
okay?
you're my sweet little brownie batter boy.
You'll always be my number one sugar plum.
Oh, you
Yeah.
charmer. That's
Get
why
out
I
of
keep
here,
coming
you.
back. Okay.
Oh.
Goodbye.
Maggie's secret recipe. Well, I mean, YouTube would censor me. YouTube would kick me out. Anyway, you place one of the 4 ingredients down. I guess if there's 2 players, you would place 2 of the ingredients down. You're going to be placing clues out here, giving a little bit of information as you go through the game, and you want to figure out what all the other players are. And you have a nice little cheat sheet that you can circle things and cross things off. And you can make bets if you're not sure, but it'll give you fewer points, so the person who does the best deductioning wins. €39, 59 Canadian, rulebook preview, yeah, sure. I got a pretty good sense of it, but there seem to be 4 different things that people could put down, and I'm wondering if we have to do this then 4 times, right? There's 4 different sections. Are we doing it in rounds? This row contains all the recipe ingredients in the game, so you can cross them out as you see them, figuring out what players' recipes are. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 ingredients in each player's recipe. Okay, yeah, so everybody has a recipe, it seems. You can discard a face-up pantry ingredient and replace it with one from the bag. Well, I guess if everybody has 4... that would make 16, plus 9 would be 25. So I don't know how you could do that with a 4-player game. Wouldn't there be nothing left in the bag? Maybe the previous clues would go in? No, I'm not quite sure about that. 25 pantry ingredients, 25 recipe ingredients. So the recipes are different than what's in the pantry. I see. So that's how you can cycle things through, because that's the recipe. So every turn you're going to be giving more information away. Either that it's in the row, it's not in a row, it's heavier, or it's lighter than. And so there's going to be an optimal play for literally every ingredient. Or if a row comes out where there's a bunch of heavy ingredients, then it's super easy to say, hey, it's lighter in this row. And yeah, so just some simple deduction that can happen as you peek and at different hidden information as well, so you can see what you can rule out from other people's recipes. I see. The recipes are all around. The recipes that are face down will correspond with your recipe, and then the stuff that's face up are the pantry stuff. Yeah, I mean, it seems cute. $59, and then shipping is 22 or 24. 24 US, it'd be like $90 to get this game. I think if this sounds interesting to you, you should check out Alchemists by CGE. Similar, a little bit more involved in the deduction aspect. You could do Paint the Roses, you could do Cryptid, you could do Search for Planet X. All of those are solid deduction games, and I don't know if this could take their thrones. This one does seem easier. I do like the whiteboard of crossing things out. That's satisfying, so who knows? If you're interested in that, check it out. The finish is Thursday, October 17th at 4 p.m. Moving to this one, which I thought was like 0% funded, and then I click on it and it's funded. I imagine this is horrible, but this is No Honor Among Bandits board game. The chaotic capture and run game with all these passes. Is this going to be a big old roll and move fest? I assume so, but I have been surprised once in 2,000 campaigns, and I'm yearning for the second time. So you run around and try to either capture bandits or capture gems and bring them back to your own little gem supply. I imagine that you use cards then to move? So it's draw and move. Yeah, you looking for a roll and write? What about draw and move? 80 tricks and traps cards that you play. A rollable game board. Bandit gem pieces. They're bottle caps. 6 dice. Haha, want to read the manual? I certainly do. Oh, I do. Roll the dice and move one of your bandits on a stack you're in control of. Movement must be along paths, but you have a number of bandits. So have you ever played the game Ute? Ute, which is an ancient Korean game. This is that with more pathways and some gem stealing instead of just going to the end of a board. Unfortunately, I really do like the idea that when you have a roll and move game, you have multiple pieces to move. I think that's a really nice step in a great direction. Unfortunately, it is not enough to pay the $50 Canadian plus whatever shipping is going to be. It only ships to the US, so 42 US. Totally get that it's run by a small studio, small like family run. They're probably going to make it themselves in-house, but it just doesn't seem like anything that I would ever want to play more than half a game. I know everything that this game will give me just by looking at it. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that exciting to me, but if it's exciting to you, well, check it out. That's Thursday, October 17th at 8 p.m. Can we do another one of these? I mean, like, when are we going to get to some real games this week? It's certainly not now. Next up, we have Cubicle, but this is why you tune into Crowdfunding Countdown, right? You tune in to see me look at the same sorts of games over and over that are hoping to be the next Exploding Kittens or the next Cards Against Humanity, and don't realize that the reason those were successful, well, Exploding Kittens, because it had a previous audience. Like a lot of things, if you have a previous audience, you can do not great stuff, and the audience will follow. Just look at politics. We're here for Cubicle, the office improv party in a box. The improv office party in a box. Cubicle is a new card game involving improv and comedic takes on office culture with various roles and unique challenges. Sure, let's see. Well, there's a sketchy aroma, a broken clock, embarrassing reply all. Seems like these cards might be a little bit funny. Oh, have we had 2 funny card games in a week before? I'm sorry, I already declared the other one about publishing nonsense to be the definitive funny card game, Cubicle. I have to do nothing but tear you down like your next employee review. Directives are unique challenges you'll participate in to earn incentives, to use in reviews, to get one step closer to being the undisputed boss and win the game. You accuse an employee, and you make them squirm. These fast, juicy, jumpy, jilly-jabbly improv battles are how you and your colleagues receive points towards that juicy, jobbly, jimmy, jibbly, giblet of a promotion to be head turkey in the turkey race. How? It doesn't matter. It's $27. Do you live in an office? Have you never left? Are you wanting to go home? Me too. Well, I am home. I am home. Oh, launch through a launch boom accelerator. Why did I not look at this? I bet they had a friggin' $1 pledge. I bet they spent, at least $3,800 is the last that I heard about Launch Boom. Seems like Launch Boom made a nice little paycheck on the hopes and dreams of someone. Good thing they went through the accelerator to pump out this gem of an idea. That finishes Thursday, October 17th at 11:59 p.m. Moving along to Escape Master. Please be the first thing of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 games? Oh my god. After last week, quantity is not always great. Hopefully one of these 22 segments will be delightful and pleasurable to you. Generally, I'd aim for all 22, but those would be unique and specific circumstances. Let's look at Escape Master and see if our dreams are crushed once more. The action of Dutch Blitz, the classic feel of Rummy, the suspense of Exploding Kittens, and the lore of fantasy role-playing games. That's what they want Escape Master to be. You start with 10 cards in your hand. You play number cards in ascending or descending order. Play faster than your opponents. Any cards left in your hands to win. How to play. Download the English rulebook here. Yes, please. It just seems like Dutch Blitz is better. Dutch Blitz is better, I guarantee you that, because Dutch Blitz is life, Dutch Blitz is love, and I won't hear anything else against it. Dutch Blitz is love, and all who live in love live in Dutch Blitz. That's all I have to say about that. So there are 6 different suits. Cards numbered 1 to king. Stacks are started by 7, and you can go up and down. Yeah, okay, start in the middle, go up and down. That's all right. Players can only play 1 card at a time using 1 hand. That's important. But you'll have your whole hand of cards. Players can only draw from the draw pile if they have no playable numbered cards. Playable special cards do not prevent a player from drawing, so you have special cards you can throw in. Drawing is not required. However, no player can play. No player is willing to draw. A player may announce draw to force everyone to draw a card. The player who announced draw should be the last to draw because you say draw. Yeah, okay, I like that too. I just don't know how exciting playing on 1 stack 7 up, like up and down is. But it's kind of fine with the speed game. You could play a version of this with a regular deck of cards and see how it goes. There are traps, though. Draw 3 cards. Play only in ascending order. Play only in descending order in your action pile. Special cards have to be verbally announced. Yeah, I think this is completely all right. $19, $27 Canadian, and then plus shipping. Shipping to anywhere in the world. Let's see where the shipping estimates are for this tiny little game. Shipping to Canada, £20? Do you think we use pounds in Canada? Why don't you? Okay, everybody else is using pounds as well, except for the US. £20. I think you're just putting pounds because it's the lowest and it makes it seem less, and then people go, oh, that's my bad. It's kind of what I think you're doing there. So it's more expensive than the game. It would be like $50 for this. No. But just get Dutch Blitz. Just get Dutch Blitz. Honestly, you want a speed game? Nothing beats Dutch Blitz. If you're interested, they'll finish this Friday, October 16th, October 18th at 7:57 a.m. But you know what's great about Dutch Blitz is that it's always available at your local store. Let's go. Moving along to Harakiri, Blades of Honor reprint and Souls of Yomi expansion. Embark on a journey across a fantasy world inspired by the samurai era, a cooperative campaign narrative game like no other. There's none other like this one, because this one has words that are different than the other words. And it doesn't matter that it's scenario-based, and it doesn't matter that you have minis that you'll move around, and it doesn't matter that it's the same, because all campaign games are the same. All campaign games are the same. That's the truth. We all know it. That's why you don't have to finish any of them, right? Because they're all the same. So you finish like a little bit of each one, and then you've essentially done one. But you get to space it out in different worlds. So, you know, it's better that way. Harakiri was on here about 3 years ago, apparently. And that's what my patrons were talking about. They're like, it's been about 3 years since they pledged. Harakiri, December 14th, December 7th to the 14th, that's when it was first talked about. And that was 2021. So almost 3 years ago. It is finally getting close to delivering to backers. Let's see. Let me look at their trailer again. And it's tough, right? It's tough when campaigns are putting this forward when things are just delivering, because they're attempting to capitalize on the excitement of people getting it to the table for the first time, enjoying it, but not really having that much time to delve into the full experience, right? They want to capitalize that peak. Everybody's getting their stuff. But luckily, I'm here to tell you a little life hack. Get ready to be hacked. I'm hacking into your life right now. I'm in your life. I'm dancing in your life. I'm dancing through your life like Bach the Munchkin from Wicked. There's going to be late pledges. There's going to be late pledges for this. Like, for at least 3 months. I think my power just went out. They didn't want, somebody's hacking me. So I won't be able to click on anything, but that's okay. I've already clicked on it. They say it's 75 hours worth of content. Oh, this is going to make it hard for me to download the rulebook and load any pictures. Well, I better stop this so I don't lose what I've done. Alrighty then. So we're going to take a look a little bit at Harakiri. Although we looked at it a while ago. Oh, I should reload. I should reload, because now my internet's working, presumably. What's in the box? Again, it's another huge big box games. Game boxes are getting so big nowadays. Oh, storage trays, that's nice though. You really need good storage in a big box and with these campaign games, or else they're just never going to get off the shelf. They really won't. and they're going to just stick all the tiles at the top, and getting it out is going to be a pain. 10 one-shot scenarios. They're all one-shot scenarios. The characters and the minis look fun. Do they have anything about the game on the main page? I don't think they do. They got some videos. All right, well, they got unboxing videos. Official how to play, that's what, an hour? Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it is about an hour when you learn it from a book, too. So long it took me to learn War of the Ring. Nice sun drop as well. Shipping is obviously going to be expensive. The new Kami 59, like 62. Man, that's expensive. But like, why? Where's your like little gameplay section? You know, it's the sort of game that relies on excitement and not actually presenting you with stuff. This is just the adventure phase. There's 2 different phases in the game. Then the exploration phase, which is 24. You set up your zones, you set out the maps and the tiles. If your character has an initiative card, you shuffle the initiative cards, I think. But some skills will allow you to manipulate the initiative track. Then you can do 3 action points, and you can move, use your techniques, you can reroll your key dice, you can attack, you can interact, you can use an item. Only move once and only attack once, otherwise you can do whatever you want. Different sort of attack types. I think if you really like the feel of like this world, that's something you can dive into. But there is going to be this 2 sort of phase thing, right? There's going to be that adventure phase, and there's going to be the like attacking and moving around. And so having to set up the board and then tear it down and set up the board, you want to have a lot of space for this one. I just don't have even the space to consider it. So I think this is a wait until the late pledge, right? Like, I think it is easy to worry. It is easy to sort of feel that excitement of people getting their pledges and starting it up. But I think like if you wait a little bit, the kinks will emerge and you can decide if that's something that you're interested in, or you can just get it secondhand from somebody who isn't interested in it, you know? Probably there will be a few of those abound. I don't know. I'm interested to those, especially those who got it in the first printing. Like, what made Harakiri stand out to you, other than the minis? Or it could just be the minis. But like, if you did back it, I know there's a few out there. Share like why you are excited and what is it about the 2 different phases of the game. I thought the adventure phase, map phase felt like it was going to be a lot to put out and to set up and to worry about moving around. It didn't feel like it had that many interesting decisions. And so I'm curious to see like what drew you in for that specific phase. If you're interested, it finishes on the 18th at 4 p.m. But again, I just feel like you should wait until the late pledge. If you forget 3 months down the line, you didn't want it in the first place, you know? That's kind of what I think. Moving along, Are we looking at this? Yeah, we're looking at everything. That's just what we do. It's like here where you just wish that the $1 pre-pledge saves you from having to look at nonsense. We have American Pursuit, an all-American hustle for dreams, life, liberty, and the pursuit of laughter. This fast-paced card game where you chase your dreams in a slapdash race to the finish. I don't know. Will we hear a third air horn? That's never happened before. Maybe episode 159 is the key. Well, this looks like a funny card game version of the game Cover Your Assets, where you're going to be drawing cards, you're hopefully going to be getting cash, and then you can play cash to buy dreams. But guess what? You can play cards to take dreams away from other people. I think I'm having a dream right now. I think Freddy Krueger has come in, and it's unlike the music box in From because there's no escape. I don't know. I haven't got there yet. I'm on season 2, and it's very scary. Collect as many dreams as you can. There are 20 different dreams. And each character has 2 special dreams that score double for them alone. And you also want to have popularity, which is on some of the dreams. It's $18, 25 Canadian. At least that's kind of a good cost for something that's draw from a card, hope you get the right cards, play them in front of you, right? There's nothing interesting or exciting about that style of game to me, you know? But if you want an American-themed game where, you can unmask the reptilian overlords, or join the Church of Scientology, or have the stock market crash, I mean, those seem like some cards that are going to give you a laugh! Number three! Although it's not a true funny card game, I just wanted to blow the horn, because a true funny card game would only have you laughing and choosing and picking amongst people. So, To be fair, there is a game here. It's pick up a card and hope you get a big number. That finishes Friday, October 18th at 4:59 p.m. That's kind of how I treat these crowdfunding countdowns. Hope I get a big number of campaigns so I seem impressive. Let's move to this one. Trash Dash, maybe. I don't think so. Oh no, I'm mistaking it for Trash Cult. Apologies, Trash Dash is significantly better than Trash Cult, which coincidentally was the original, allegedly, Launch Boom's first name. Allegedly, it was that. I heard it from someone. Trash Dash is a fast-pacing racing game where 2 to 6 players are street animals competing to be the quickest critter in the city. Let's see that this is pick up a card and play it as well. I mean, the art here looks fun. There's a little bit of a potential push your luck element that might be interesting, but I think it's just you draw cards from your hand and you see how quickly you can play those cards together. But there is a little bit of hand management in terms of choosing how far you do run around the track. So maybe there's that. Like, really love the art style. And the meeples are very cute. And I love Aesop, the sewer rat. Like all philosophers. You get a degree in philosophy? You sewer rat. You can rummage in the bins and get power-ups. You get extra momentum on spills, so kind of trying to navigate the track a little bit there. Recycle bins, refresh your hand of action cards. Big old boxes. Make sure that nobody can do a little take that. Works really well for families on a weeknight who just want to have a little togetherness and play a fun game. So if you want to just get together, you can play an action card or play a trash card and an action card to give you little bonuses. You can dash, use 2 matching action cards to get a speed boost. Discard 2 action cards with matching move value, ignoring their attack or scare. The move value, not the sum, is your base value, and then you roll the dash dice. You can re-roll by discarding any action card. You can continue re-rolling as many times as you're able. The final value showing on the dash dice, to that base movement. Oh, that kind of sucks. I mean, I want you just to be able to go on a rolling run. That's the thing that I was kind of excited about. You take the effect of where you go, but at least you have some agency and some choice of like, okay, at least I can go to a garbage bin and hope to draw an item there. So that's something. What's the price? $35.49 Canadian. That's just tough. Is shipping on here? No, shipping's, I guess, down over here. Shipping fulfillment. United States, $10 shipping. International, $25 to $35. So it'll be $45 US to get to you. Again, it's like a $70 to $90 game for me because it's 25 to Canada. So 60 US, 84, 82 Canadian. It's what do you expect? But it's funded. It's funded and it raised double its goal. So congratulations, Trash Dash. Your cute art and the little meeples definitely appealed to some people and maybe for families, but unfortunately I don't have a family as they were all kidnapped by bears. That finishes Friday, October 18th at 8 p.m. Moving along to another reprint, Deliverance, Council of the Fallen expansion and reprint, the award-winning Angelic Warfare board game returns to Fallbrook with a massive expansion and 2nd edition base game. Let's check this out. I know my patrons some of them played Deliverance, and some of them quite enjoyed it as well. So I'm going to look up what they said while I also watch this video. Okay, not as many people talking about Deliverance as I was expecting. Maybe it was some other Thy Kingdom Come style of game. But some people who were playing it, played it consistently through, said they enjoyed it. And the base game coming in at $89 for a campaign game, that seems pretty alright. Including the 2nd edition upgrade kit. This is why you always do 2nd editions of campaign games as well. Well, you don't have to do them. You can do the 3rd edition, but you don't necessarily have to do the 1st edition, is my point. Quickest summary I can give of why this game is worth backing, according to its player, are the following things. There's both a one-shot skirmish mode and a challenge story-driven campaign. Setup is 10 minutes. That seems like a lot. The thoughtful game inserts made for quick setup and teardown. And 10 minutes is quick? 10 minutes is like my max. But I get it, because some like big campaign games are 30 minutes. Some just you set up and then you're like, oh, that was all the time I had for today, and you put it all away. They are single-handedly keeping board game tables in business. Darkness, Saint, and Prayer systems are thematically unique to Deliverance. Ignore the darkness at your own peril. Okay. Fight demons, hold back the darkness. Through prayer. The only time where thoughts and prayers do work. For everything else, there's gun control. Choose your angel. I choose you. You're my angel. You right there. You know who you are. Each angel has 125 unique talent combinations. Oh. Revamped 4 to 5 player rules. That's nice to hear. Engage your demonic adversaries in grid-based cooperative tactical combat. That's the first thing that's been helpful. Okay, use your limited actions wisely to send your foes to the abyss and survive their onslaught. Uses dice for bonus rolls. Combats in Deliverance is deterministic, meaning you'll You'll never frustratingly miss that critical final blow. You just use dice as bonuses. Cool. Demons won't make it easier for you. Enemies use a simple to execute menu of actions that involve both skills that always activate and actions determined by the roll of the dice. So you have a little bit of variability in terms of how your people activate. Yeah, that seems like a nice pitch. This is what I like. Like, you compare this to Harakiri, right? Like, Harakiri is like, yeah, Japan, cool samurai, the dragon from Dragon Ball Z, Shenron, that's who it is. I almost said Shamu, but that's a different dragon. That's a different dragon. And then you get something like this, where it's really like, hey, this is the flow, this is what you're going to be doing, and I really appreciate that. Deliver the Saints from Darkness. The Saints of Fallbrook act as battlefield objectives, represented on the board as mortals that you must protect. Yeah, you're an angel, so you got to protect certain spots on the board. You have to hold back the tide of darkness as you combat demons or suffer the consequences as your forces are hampered. Confront the final fallen princes. Skirmish campaign scenario. Skirmish is one shot. Nice. And then you just have a bunch of new angels for the deluxe expansion. And some more scenarios as well. So if you really love the previous Deliverance, this feels like maybe it might be worthwhile. I mean, we have 310 backers backing that deluxe expansion. So I think that's an interesting, let's go into the annals of history here. Because I know that Deliverance and people were playing it, I don't know, when earlier than this. Like, again, with Harakiri, they've given some room to breathe. Deliverance, the game of spiritual warfare, 2,717 backers pledged. So with 310 backers returning, right, or 311 at the pledge manager, so are considering it, may not have the stuff, but 310 guaranteed right now. That's a little over 10%. So 10% want more, which I think is an interesting stat. Oh no, everything new. For backers that already own Deliverance, want everything new, includes Council of the Fallen. See, this is much better than we have 810. So 810 plus 310, we're at 1120. So we're at 11 over 27, essentially, is where we're at. What's that, 42%? Now I need to know. Approximately 42% would be my guess. 40.7%. So I need to give up my gold medal in estimation math. Pathetic. Although 1120 over 2717 is 41.2%. So I'll take that. I'll say I was going off of that one. Still not 42%, 41.2%, but so yeah, 41.2% of people returning to this well, with potentially more, potentially 50% of people if they're going in the pledge manager. That's pretty good. Like, that's a pretty good satisfaction rate too. That's a metric that I like to see when people are offering expansions, is to see how many of the original return. Now, we don't know if the people who are returning haven't gotten Deliverance off their shelf and are insane, like everybody who watches Crowdfunding Countdown. Me too, I do it as well. I'm one of you. Lock me up with Harley Quinn and sing a musical about me. But I still think that's a nice touchstone, you know. That's all we can really do. Rulebooks can be found below Deliverance. You have darkness cards face down on a track. Ongoing effects will pop up. These are things that you have to deal with. Refresh all action tokens. Choose the first angel to act, give them the initiative token. You have the battle track happening down here, and they'll move around up top in this area. This is where you kind of manage everything. You see all the different stats, etc., and then you fight up there, up top. Campaign, you only get XP after a campaign, so you level up in between. Some cards require a test. This test is always accompanied by a number, test 7+, which shows the value that must be reached in order to successfully pass the test. To conduct a test, roll a pair of 2 six-sided die. Well, a pair of six-sided die. That's the result of the test. If a card, skill, or action reads test X, X will always be a numerical value, and so you roll 2 dice. So everything is you roll 2 dice to do the checks on what happens to you. I thought it was all deterministic, though. Maybe because you have a set amount of damage? Yeah, the demon's damage listed on the individual skills. Angels use the relevant stat value listed in their skills to determine damage dealt. Okay, yeah, I think like there's a lot of focus on the upgrades that you get to do. And I think rightfully so. If there is not going to be variability in your potential rolls, then the upgrades and the skills that come from those rolls, or the variability that comes from those skills, rather, yeah, I don't know. They kind of really go back and forth between skirmish mode and campaign mode in this rulebook. So I feel like you'd want to do it in campaign mode, but it's nice that it has it pretty clear out there. I think there's also a lot of emphasis on these talents and differences, and I don't know, it's hard to determine the efficacy and the actual impact of these talents from just the rule book. You can select additional targets when using your skills, pay 1 moon or remove 2 light boons for each additional target, right? Like it seems like it's just equipment, you know, and so the variability that you get from something like Zombicide or whatever when you get a different piece of equipment that still lets you do essentially the same thing, just in a little different way. I think it still doesn't mean it won't be fun, but I think it won't potentially have the wild variability that they're all hoping it will. Still, though, I think, you can play it on Board Game Arena too? That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, everybody should try that out. Shipping for everything all in, all at once, is $29 to the US, $29 to Canada. That's pretty good. That's about what you'd expect for a campaign game. That would be, about $150, $160 for me. Doesn't quite blow me away. I don't need another big box on my shelf. I really don't. You've got to stand out amongst the pack to really be able to be a big box on my shelf these days. But if you're interested, that finishes Friday, October 18th at 9 p.m. Moving along to this one, Dark Tomb, The Ice Chasers. A dungeon crawler in your pocket. The new Dark Tomb adventure is coming, and it's chilling. I've seen these before. They've done 2 of these before. It's a little dungeon crawler in your pocket, a pocket dungeon crawler. You pull out the cards, you flip them up. They are fully cooperative, aka solo is better, but you will have your own character, and you'll have a number of different skills that your character can activate. I think it's 3 usually. You'll have these little maps and these different elements that you'll go through, and I think these have been really well received, and they're cheap as well. They're $20, 26 Canadian. I think it's a great price for what you get if you like that pocket-sized dungeon crawling aspect. It's this action selection of once you choose an action of your ability, you can't use that ability again. So you got to choose something else. So this goes back and forth between attacking and moving, etc. Wow, this person can throw something around corners. Cool. So what's shipping like? Are you here? Shipping is $7 to the US, 15 to Canada. Still, I've heard good things about this game. I think it's been well received. If you're interested in that little pocket dungeon crawler with a simple system of you have 4 actions, you choose one, you can't choose them again. The scythe system, if you will. Then check it out. That finishes Friday, October 18th at 10 p.m. Pretty impressive it's raised so much money, especially when it's only charging you $20. And so the fact that something like this can charge you $20 in such a nice little tin, and then everything else, every other funny card game under the sun is going to be double that, just shows you where there's value and where there isn't. Okay, let's keep it moving to this one. Vrahode, Age of Prophecy. I think I gotta keep on checking these. Make sure I don't waste my time. Let's see. Every copy includes ink-washed minis. Cool. Just a story-driven cooperative adventure. We've seen those before. $79 for the core pledge as well. You get a bunch of standees, or you can obviously do the big old mini pledge, which less people have done. Oh, more people have done standees than the mini pledge. That's great. Well, everybody's gone for the legendary pledge. Okay, I take it back. For the acrylic tokens as well. This seems very RPG forward because it says you roll to see if you succeed, and then you also roll for damage, right? There's a damage modifier. Choose from 4 unique heroes, asymmetric traits, power them up with items and skills. Prepare yourself with armor, weapons, and skills in a handy location. Track your skills with a custom board. Yeah, the board looks cool. It's like a 3D character sheet, and you can see your different skills over here. It seems really, really RPG forward. You look to your roll of your D20 if you've hit or misses. If it hits, the modifier dice will add to your damage, or take some away. They'll use armor mitigation as well. Now, where's the rules? That's the question. There's some videos. Where are the rules? Where are the turtles? And this is just all the lore that they've slapped down. Ooh, West is there. Okay. Maybe I have the rules. Updated rules reference. Thank you, West Todd. Don't know why it's not on the campaign. No clue. But good on West Todd for sending them my way. Now I can actually look at them. Basic rules, turn points, movements, attacking. There we go. Many equipped items as they have on spaces. Yeah, I really like this. Iridia does this too, where you have a loadout. That's really like Diablo, you know? You have this loadout already. You can put something on your head and something on your torso, and I don't know, I think that's kind of fun. A lot of things do this, but to have a specific spot that you can put these things, I think is cool. Cool, there's a thing built in for sneak attacks, shaking up initiative tokens. You don't have action points, you have turn points for anything a character can do on their turn, such as moving, using an item, performing a physical attack. Most of these cost 1 turn point, and each hero has 2 turn points. You can only perform 1 physical attack, skill, or racial ability. You could just call it ability. I think you could probably just call it ability. Special ability. But you can perform 2 range attacks, 2 melee attacks. Okay, fine. You look at the base attack on your weapon, then you look at the mitigation score. You have to hit a 13 to roll. You succeed if you roll is equal to or less than the applicable stat. If you roll higher, you have failed. I hate that. I always think, then when you roll a 20, you're like, yes, I rolled a natural 20. Oh, I failed. But really like RPG focused in terms of what you're breaking through in your 24 scenarios. Enemies seem pretty easy to control. Move within attack range. If within range, attempt to attack. And that's important because sometimes it's like attack, and if not, then move. Makes it a bit easier. This means it's not as easy. Thank you, Wes Todd, for actually putting the rulebook to me. Other people don't get that, though. No idea why the rulebook isn't on the page. Funding is just beginning, as we may need many more backers to increase the game's print run to the point where we don't lose a bunch of money. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't lose a bunch of money, please. You should set a realistic funding goal so you don't, and use this as your first little push. I guess they're hoping that once it gets out in the world, people will be excited and will be talking about it. I'm really actually surprised that this is not doing better. This seems like another standard RPG campaign. I mean, it's got all the bells and the whistles. It's got the minis. It's giving you ink washed minis, sun dropped. It's giving you a little system. I guess the system isn't as clear. That's probably why. The how to play isn't that specific as like how you attack things or how you fight things off. It just says like use your cards wisely. It is a little bit more generica, whereas they could take a note from Deliverance, which I think really has a nice outlined how to play, and then still is able to sort of delve into like, this is amazing, the skills, it's going to be so variable. Like you can still do your marketing speak, you can still hype everybody up, but you can give them a little bit more of a taste, and that's probably why it isn't doing as well as it might. I know that West would have come up here, driven up here and played this with me if I had had just a moment of time, and I would have been happy to. But I did not, because it launched October 1st, and September is WSPG. And I'm sure I would have had a great time playing with him. But that aside, like, I think there is something really charming about the RPG backing of this. Right, they emphasize there's no game master needed, and you can tell that they're coming from that RPG standpoint. And I think if you want to sort of give yourself more of that RPG feel instead of like a standard campaign, I think that's how this one can kind of set itself apart from the chaff, so to speak. So if you're interested in that one, check it out. The finish is Sunday, October 20th at 11 a.m. Moving along, Pax Porfiriana, the Ultimate Edition. Step into the tumultuous world of the Mexican Revolution. This exciting Pax Porfiriana reprint features a complete new act to the game, Act 2. And that takes place after the revolution, adding 120 cards to the game. In addition, you get updated rules and the card layout and some updated illustrations, offering a fresh experience for both seasoned strategists and new players. Also included in this campaign are reprints of Pax Renaissance and Pax Viking. That was a lot. Let's see what it is like. Okay, here's the gameplay. Action phase. Perform 3 strategic actions each turn. You can play new cards, acquire cards from a market, speculate on market cards, buy land, or redeploy your troops to strengthen your position. So I guess 3 of them. Discard headlines, remove any headline cards that have reached the leftmost position in the market, keeping the game dynamic and unpredictable. I guess those have different effects. Restore the market. There's lots of cards in the market, and you're going to get money. But if depression hits, be prepared to pay 1 gold for each card you have in play. To win, you must topple Diaz through a coup, succession, revolution, or U.S. annexation of Mexico. If Diaz remains in power, the player with the most gold at the end of the game claims victory. Oh, okay, so like killing Diaz or toppling Diaz instantly wins. 4 powerful scoring cards known as toppling cards are in play, each influenced by the current form of government. But the government can shift through troop actions, other cards, affecting the game's production values, such as mine outputs. All right. Tons of new cards, and it's more portable. First draft of the rulebook, still work in progress. Yeah, let's go. Why do we just jump to L? That's not helpful. Unless this is okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, perfect. It's just 2 books. Thank goodness. I was like, and one of them says A, and then it goes right to L. I'm like, but I missed all of the setup and the components. Here are the components. Here are the setup. The pictures are making it difficult, or the lack of pictures thereof. There's some sample illustrations. Cool. You can get the Viking era and the Renaissance era for €79, which is $121 Canadian, or the full Mexican experience, $136 Canadian, plus shipping, 18 to 22. So again, 150 for this card market game. Play a card from your hand, pay the cost of the gold listed in the top right corner. Any effects listed on a card take immediate effect after playing. Kind of wish you could show me the map, really. This is a tough one. This is very dense. Probably too dense for me at the current moment in time, as evidenced by my hairstyle right now. It feels like if you've played this game before, maybe you're interested. I just don't. It's all about this market balancing as you grab a number of different types of cards and play them in front of you or in front of other people. They're different enterprises. I think this 120 minutes is probably wrong. I think it's a 150-minute card game that's just like wildly dense and arduous would probably be my experience trying to get through it a little bit right now. So if you're interested in that, that's finishes on the 21st at 10 a.m. I just need to move on to lighter, easier fare, such as this one, the Unmatched Adventures Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtles take on Shredder and Krang in the critically acclaimed fighting game. Plays cooperatively or competitively. This is the second foray into the Unmatched Adventures system. You're going to get 4 different turtles that you can use in just regular Unmatched, or you can do it in the Unmatched Adventures. The first one, which was Unmatched Adventures Tales to Amaze, where you got 3 different new characters, and this one you get 4 new characters. Let's take a look and see. I think Unmatched is better as a non-co-op game. That is the word that I've heard on the street being Zach and Colin and some of the people when we played it at Niagara, the Niagara Board Game Convention, or they did. I didn't get a chance to play it, and they said that they're like, yeah, it was okay. It wasn't their standout by any means, and I think maybe that's if I had to do a 5 reasons, which I don't because I'm covering it right now, that would be kind of the direction at which I'd lean in to. But let's see what the TMNT have got to say vehemently. I had to change that line in my Universus rap. I didn't like vehemently, so I said with pepperoni, which was fun too. But I liked vehemently, TMNT. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, nothing really of any substance up there. I think the key here is going to be, what do you get for this $80 plus shipping, 111 for all the stretch goals that you couldn't just get, later on for significantly less, right? This is the Tales to Amaze. I mean, it's sold out right now here, but 65 Canadian versus 80 US. So I think the stretch goals have got to be pretty exciting, and foil cards just don't do it for me. Mikey and April O'Neil as a little backup partner. Sorry, Mikey, you got it. Raphael and Casey Jones, Leonardo and Splinter, or Donatello and Metalhead. Yeah, I'm going to go with Mikey and April O'Neil. Taking on Shredder. Shredder sending out his foot soldiers to wreak havoc in the Big Apple. And then Krang, who uses his Doomsday machine to bring out Dimension X into our world. Watch for the treacherous Technodome traps. And their minions, Leatherhead, Rat King, etc. Allies and henchmen, gameplay highlights. Simple action, scheme, maneuver, attack. It's true. They are pretty simple. You just choose a card. I'll go look at what Shredder and Krang do, but I mean, these extra minis are fun, I guess. Villains as hero decks. Interesting. The extra toppings, $70 for this mini set. 1 character card and 30 action cards for each of the villains in competitive play. Yeah, I really like this as an add-on. That's kind of fun. But I just don't see why, what are the stretch goals? Here we go. You can get what you want. The additional items beyond the game itself will not be widely available after the Kickstarter, but they will be available, just not widely available. They'll have limited copies. You're getting a great deal. They've discounted the extra large Supreme reward in terms of price, components, and shipping. You'll never be able to get as much stuff as cheaply as you do right now when you get the whole bundle, but you don't need the whole bundle. You really don't. You just need the core game. Like, if the core game is interesting, that's what you need. You don't need all the extra stuff. You don't need double minis. You don't. Unmatched is a great game because of its simplicity. Unmatched is something that you will want to be able to pare down because there are so many different sets that if you really get entrenched in the system, you're not going to want a bajillion boxes. You're going to want a streamlined, efficient storage solution. That's what you're going to want. And then 3, you get to be a backer. Nobody cares. Stretch goals. Okay, here we go. Alternate art promo pack. So nothing. For every 25k the campaign raises, we'll add another card to the promo pack, no matter how big the campaign gets. A nearly endless supply of promo cards that are just alternate art, so not even gameplay implications. You don't need to worry about it. Flat rate shipping as well is really nice, really doable. $10 to the US, $15 for Canada. But even still, it's $95. It's $120 Canadian, and I will bet you that you can get it for cheaper on a sale sometime once it's in mass distribution. I just don't see the point of backing this right now because Unmatched is so successful. Unless you really love the Unmatched system and you have everything and you really want to support restoration games, like I get it from that perspective. I don't get it from any FOMO perspective because there should be none. Should be very easy to get this game later on if it is any good. If it is good, it will be produced because people will buy it if it is good. And with a license like TMNT, you can bet that it's going to be on shelves and you can bet that people are going to be interested. So wait for a sale and you can get it cheaper. You don't need the alternate art promo cards to stretch goals. I don't think make it worthwhile to get it right now, but maybe that's just me. That's Tuesday, October 22nd at 2:01 a.m. All right, this is another one, Valheim, the board game that could be worthy of a 5 Reasons You Shouldn't Back, but I did not have time to do that. But we're going to take a look at it. Valheim, the board game, is a 1-to-4 player cooperative board game where survival depends on teamwork and strategy. Assemble your band of warriors and venture forth to explore, expand your homestead, gather resources, forge powerful weapons, equip sturdy armor, battle evil creatures, and carve your path towards facing the ultimate evil, the Forsaken. The fate of Valheim lies in your hand. It all really just sounds the same every time. It's just really, I'm getting to that point where every board game sounds the same, every cooperative campaign game, but maybe this will be different. Who knows? Ooh, epic. It's so odd what makes people go for cooperative campaign games and what doesn't. I think this little Virgin Mary's nativity scene of your own home base is probably a draw. I think it looks like these final boss battles will be tactically not that rich, just judging by the video, but we're going to see. GameFound exclusives. What can't you get anywhere? Whips. Little mini expansions. Neck groups. Wraiths. Standees and standard. Okay, they got a standard. That's nice. 8 unique boss cards? You're not going to get any boss cards? Well, you can probably find a picture of them. We've added the wood furniture standee pack, replacing the boat add-on. You got to go around Valheim, gathering resources, craft equipment to improve your house, then fight off the evil of Valheim, but only after you've improved your house. Challenge the Forsaken. Whether you're a band of warriors or as a lone survivor, the quest for glory is in your hands. Many customizable skills and specialized tools ensure a fresh experience every time as you strive for survival. The cozy homestead is your base. Here you can rest, check on the bees, and cook hearty meals to regain your strength. Explore Valheim by land and sea, but stay vigilant. You never know when you might run into a troll. You do when you tune into Room and Board. It's every time. Standard edition, €65, 73 US, about 100 Canadian. You get standees for the enemies, get cardboard resource tokens, still get a double player board. That's pretty good. And for an additional 50, you get enemy miniatures, so 29 minis, and some wooden resource tokens. Yeah, standard edition, about $100 Canadian. Pledged 779 times. That's pretty good. Deluxe edition, $12.95, and collector's edition, $6.99. Yeah, good. When the standard outweighs the collector's edition, you know the collector's edition is completely useless, right? Like that should be pretty clear. I don't think this is really going to tell us much about the game and like the actual flow of it. I think it's going to show you a bunch of stuff and hope that you back based on prettiness alone. Oh, that's why they did Deep Rock Galactic. That's why. Deep Rock Galactic looked pretty good. Like, I think Deep Rock Galactic looked quite fun in terms of a dungeon crawling, dice chucking sort of thing. Battle of the Gods, I haven't seen really all that much. But like, wow, come on, where's the rules? Where's the rule book? What happened to the boat? We made it bigger. You now get 2 boats. This is nice. I don't know what they were doing before, but they were making it weird with following, and so they're like, you know what? We're just changing that. Everybody gets 2 votes. Where's the rulebook? The game is still a work in progress. We cannot make the rules available to you. To compensate for this, we've written several deep dives explaining gameplay mechanics, posted a playthrough video, and partnered with several known YouTube channels to make previews. Update 2, gameplay and components. Update 3, setup and objectives. Update 4, exploration and resources. Yeah, but what did you give them? That's what I'm wondering. What did you give them? There's a lot of really well-informed board gamers out there who can take those sorts of things and make their own decision. What you give them? That's my question. But cool, yeah. We'll check out what there is, I guess. As you have to scroll down to update 2, 4, and 3. We introduced the core gameplay loop of Valheim. Summon and defeat the Forsaken. You need to prepare before you're ready, so you need to gather materials to craft gear, upgrade your house, defend yourself against creatures while doing so. So it's a little bit of a tower defense game. Map layout, you do so with tiles to create specific scenarios. Each mission will feature a short description that sets the stage for what's to come. The mission objective is really what matters. Explains what you need to do and how you need to do it. Great. Any examples? No. Take a turn in clockwise order. You can perform 3 actions. Move, collect new tiles, collect resources. Explore new tiles, collect resources, attacking, trading, crafting, cooking, eating, and so on. Then there's an event card. All the Forsaken have one. The mission deck defines the event deck at play, because whatever Forsaken you're attacking. There's raids, they're bad things. I find GameFound quite annoying to navigate these updates, especially in the past. To collect a resource, you move your character to a space with a matching icon and roll a green dice. Whatever amount of hands come up is the amount of you add to the resources. If you hit an exclamation mark, you get the resources, but every creature on your adjacent game tiles moves 1 space closer to you. Now say you're collecting wood, and you get an exclamation mark, there's no creature to mess with you. Great, then you roll the black dice. If you roll an exclamation mark, a tree just falls on you, wiping out all of your health and knocking you cold. That sounds like the most infuriating thing to ever happen. I know you have to hit 2 6s in a row, but it still happens, rolling one and then the other, you know? I'm very thankful for that example, because it kind of shows, you roll poorly, you die. And that's the style of game that it is. Yeah, I don't know. It might just be large campaign fatigue, but there's nothing about this that really jumps out off the page for me, except perhaps the production quality and the art style. Like, I'm really into that. What it gives me is not enough to get me excited about potential things that you get to do as heroes. It feels like a efficiency route planning game, almost wrapped up in a fantasy theme, which isn't a bad thing. Actually, framing it that way might get me a little bit more excited, because you have to go out, you have to get your resources, and you have to craft certain things, and defeating the Forsaken seems to resolve all around this going out, getting resources, and coming back. And I suppose if you attribute that sort of game flow to the same flow as Deep Rock Galactic, where it was go out, get some rock and stone to the bone, and then come back without dying, maybe you can attribute some of the previous experiences and stuff that they've learned from that one to this. But that's being in my most generous of nature, and that's because I am tired. I get nicer the more tired I am, because I assume that I must be missing something, and I just don't think I am. Well, I am missing something. I'm missing a full rulebook. That's what I am. That's what I am missing. To be able to adequately go through and feel out the game for myself, and to how repetitive that food gathering situation is going to be. But yeah, I don't know. If you're interested in that will finish next Tuesday, the 22nd, at 3 a.m. Moving along to this one. Are you more like and go for the Krill? Do you know what your opponent is thinking? 2 amazing games with high player interaction and high player count capability. Sure, let's see. Great, not going to tell me anything about the game. Perfect. Go for the Krill is 20 minutes, high intensity, ocean creatures, 6 players. Are you more like, learn more about yourself and others, meaningful discussion, conversation games? Yeah, I already know from the title of Are You More Like exactly the type of game it is. It's a party game where you draw a card, or 2 cards maybe, and they have zany things on it, and you'll say, hey, are you more like this, or are you more like a scuba diver? And then you will make your own guess, you will make your own decision, and then everybody else will have to predict it, and then whoever predicts it correctly gets points. You play to a certain amount of points. Let's see how right I am. That was just made up. I invented that game based upon the box cover, and the title. 220 unique item cards. Least like, most like. Oh, so you're going to sort yourself, I bet. So you probably have to sort each other for earwax to Cyborg Chicken. Then all players... Oh no, it's just a funny card game. It's a hilarious card game. The active player is selected, then all other players look at their cards in hand, choose a card to submit. After all cards are submitted, they choose from the options which they are most like and which they're least like and write it down. At the same time, players are secretly writing down what they predict the active player will choose for most and least like about themselves. Yeah, I was pretty close. That's pretty much what I said. Then they reveal their most and least, then you score points. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I said. How to play Grow for the Kroll. Gill for the Kroll. Control a group of whales made up of a hand of number cards from 1 to 10, a squid card, and a penguin card. Your goal is to play a card each round to consume a school of plankton, or the more valuable krill cards that correspond to the numbered whale cards you play at the right moment before your opponents eat them up first. If 2 or more players play the same number to single round, the cards are moot, neither player gets anything. Alright, yeah, I've seen this style of game before as well. The people who did Kelp, one of their first one was called Wondrous Creatures or something like that. It felt very similar. I like that as a potential mechanic of saying, okay, we're going to play a card. I'm going to play the 10. Nobody better play the 10. I'm playing Miso Soup. If I get an opportunity, I'm playing Miso Soup in Sushi Go Party. And I can guarantee you, I will always play Miso Soup. So if you are playing Miso Soup, you're going to lose points. I don't care. I have the best time ever just playing Miso Soup. So going for the Krill is $32.45 Canadian. Are you more like a game that I made up, that I am the lead designer on? It's $35 for $49 Canadian, and then there's shipping as well. Local pickup, Western Ohio and local Indiana. That's cool. Base game only, $10. US shipping estimates. Only ships to the United States. Both of these only ship to the United States. So if you're interested in either of these, you can check them out. That finishes Tuesday, October 22nd at 10:01 a.m. And we are done because we're not covering Twisted Cryptids. Because, although I do want to check something, because they decided to do, strangely, the $1 pre-pledge, they did not need to whatsoever. And I am curious to see how Casting Shadows and Command of Nature did. Command of Nature, $2 million. All right. Casting Shadows, $4 million. So they're sitting right now at $1.4 million with 10 days to go. So they'll probably hit $2 million, aka the exact same thing. I'm not sure what their $1 pre-pledge was, but I know my patrons were talking about it. Oh yeah, supported by Launch Boom, probably just so Launch Boom can say, hey, look at this amazing campaign that would have done exactly the same if we didn't do the $1 pre-pledge. Again, showing that you just are drawing from your initial fan base. And they were going to buy it anyway. Congratulations on the rousing success. But we're not covering that. And a couple of people asked me about it, again, to do a 5 reasons. There are so many Unmatched, Valheim, and Twisted Cryptids all in the 1 million bar, all of which just seem fine, you know, medium rare. This one, I can imagine, just like Here to Slay, Casting Shadows before it, it is overpriced, and you can get it at Target or Walmart down the line for 30% of what you'll pay right now. Overproduced, overpriced, and very light in gameplay. If you're a heavy gamer, you probably already know this. But that's it. That's it for the week. Oh, I must have bumped this. I don't know. Every week I do a pick for me and a pick for you. The pick for me being the thing that I think is the most interesting. The pick for you being the thing that I think if you got, you will regret it the least. But before we do that, I want to go through a nice rousing grunt down as we grunt our way through and I remember what all these games were. No, nope, yeah, nope, nah, yeah, good, blech, fine, meh, and absolutely not. We're not doing a pick for me this week. There's really no pick for me. And there's no pick for you either. No. Sorry, Christmas is canceled, and I'm going to take New Year's away from Stanley. There's nothing this week that is jumping off the page for me, and it's just, we're hitting that bar of, and that's so surprising, because there are 3, like, $1 million campaigns that are this week. 3 of them that I could have done a 5 reasons you shouldn't back, and I would have been really struggling to find anything interesting to say about them. I think we need to raise our standards. That's what this is. I mean, there's a whole first front half of taking the light out of my eyes and putting it into a bottle and selling it to the highest bidder in the form of a funny card game. So there's that. Or in the form of just like a game with good art where you draw a card and you play a card over and over and over again, which needs to retire. I mean, I guess it doesn't. People keep making their funding goals, so like, what the hell do I know? Go for it. Go forth. Take your idea, make it explode. But we just see so many of the same thing, and I think we're finding that, or at least I'm finding that, and we're all here together. So we are finding it in those large campaign games as well. I don't know, Deliverance could be close, but just because I've heard good things and because it was presented really well. I just like the idea of rolling a d20 because I'm like, ooh, RPGs, I haven't done one of those in a while for Vrahode or whatever it was. And Grandma's little cozy recipe place seems fine, you know, but there are better deduction games out there. Alchemist is better. There are better games out there. I'm sorry to tell you. I've seen thousands of them. And there are just better games. So you're not allowed to get any of these this week unless you write me a full essay on my desk Tuesday morning. I mean, get what you want, but just make sure that you are excited. I don't see what distinguishes these games from other better things. And if you can't isolate that, no toys or treats for you. That's specifically coming down from Grandma. I don't make the rules. So that's it. But let me know if you are excited about things. I think there are plenty of things to be excited about because there are plenty of $1 million campaigns. People are hyped, you know? I just don't think you should be. I think you should increase your standards, you know? I think you should raise those standards a little bit higher so that you are happy and not just, it's all right. That's the goal. That should be the goal. That's the goal we got to keep reminding ourselves of. But whatever you do, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. My name has been Chris George. Once upon a time it was. And I don't have a catchphrase. And I certainly wish I could leave on a high note of just any game being worth some excitement. But that's why there's 158 other episodes. We'll leave it to them to figure that out.